Hello everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. Today we're going to be looking at a piece that has some really good lessons on fantasy art, some really good lessons on contrast, some really good lessons on textural diversity, as well as types of color and what that color provides. Alright, so we're going to jump right into it. Let's see, what color do I want to use here? Maybe red? Nah, I'll go for white. So we're going to stay on that white there. Alright, so in our first introduction here, what I noticed is this purple feels it feels mystical. There's something really special about this. It feels like an amethyst gemstone that's kind of shining out and almost divine in a call for our attention. So that's important to note there. Also, it also commands this center space here. And whenever a element of a piece of art commands the center space, it will always emphasize itself. And we can see that emphasis achieved through a couple things. So we see, first off, there is a color. So we have darker area here. And we have a lighter area here. And other than that, we have textural diversity. Obviously, you see the very rough rocking edges, and that is in contrast to kind of this misty, light, cloudy smoke there. So that's also important to note. Both of those are already combining to emphasize itself and accent itself in the spatial composition. And whenever anything accents itself, it calls our attention. It always calls our attention. So there's something really magical about this purple, and that's really important to note. So up here, I see what looks to be a sky full of stars. I see a little bit of brush, some trees there. So we also see a lone traveler. So that background kind of just sets up a neutral gray or a neutral black background for the purple to emphasize itself to the highest degree possible, right? So we're also going to look at this. We see a lone traveler. It kind of looks like that person's wearing a hoodie and they're looking at this or they're moving towards it. Either way, they are confronting it. And there's a lot of different ways we can approach this. For one, let's take the most literal example that we're seeing in front of us. We have a lone traveler who has discovered this cave with this kind of mystical, fantasy-esque purple smoke coming out of it. So not only is the light radiating outside of the cave as a call inward, but also the smoke is kind of billowing out from the cave as well as a call inward in turn. It's also it's calling you in every way possible, and this lone traveler is watching this and he's obviously enticed by that. So that's really important to note there. So that's kind of in the literal sense. And kind of a literature based sense, we can think of this as a hero confronting something new, or the lone traveler confronting something which they haven't seen before, or of course something that they haven't seen that is of immense value. So finding a gemstone or finding a mystical purple cave, that's really important to look at. And then if we want to talk about kind of the metaphorical sense, we could take a look at going into the unknown from what you do know. So the lone traveler is obviously always traveling through, right? So this is unknown until the traveler gets past it and now it's known, and then they just keep moving into the unknown continually. And I think that is also reflected in the piece forward. So as you continue to go in there, you're going deeper and deeper into the unknown, and you're discovering the known and bringing back little remnants that you can in order to construct a perspective or construct a plan based on that, because you've confronted the unknown and of course the chaos that where evil may reside. So that's really important to note. We could also take a look at how we discover art. So I believe this piece is entitled Portal to Fantasy by Revilo. So this handles Revilo _ stuff, and we're also going to take a look at some of the first time that person was ever showcased as well. So this piece is called Portal to Fantasy. So this, of course, is the portal we're talking about, and within is the fantasy. But when I was kind of thinking about this piece and looking at the title and everything, what I see is seeing a new piece of art. Art is a portal to something that's different, or a fictional world, for example. It's something new, but it's also something that could be, artificially created like this digital rendering. And that's of immense importance, because before people can actually construct thoughts about art, it was the artist who displayed the ideas first, and then all these writers and intellectuals just study the pieces way later and then build a narrative out of that. So that's really important to think of. So the artists are the ones who show that fantasy first in the visual form, and they express it in the visual form. So art in and of itself is a portal to fantasy, or a portal to a fictional world that doesn't necessarily exist, but which we can still learn from and live within through the piece in front of us. That's also why I've chosen workspaces here. You'll see this entire app. It is kind of like a workroom, and there's different environments I can be in. I'm on a virtual reality headset. But the reason I do this is because I can get my piece. I can just put my piece right here, and I can put I can put my notes here, and I can put the piece right next to it, and then I can just discuss in real life, in real time. So sometimes I'll just wing it here with no notes. Sometimes it'll be my first introduction. Sometimes I'll be recording for the third time. So there's so many different opportunities provided, and art is a portal into a fantasy world, and that's incredibly important. I used to look on bigger and bigger screens to see my pieces so that I could study them with the most detail and the most pristine accuracy. I really wanted to get into the piece, so I would put it on a TV. Even I would put it on a big laptop. I'd put it on my not necessarily my phone, trying to get a bigger screen than that. And this is my next special option. I'm literally in virtual reality, just able to edit a piece, create it, make it bigger, make it smaller. That's I can move it all the way across, or I could extend its size. So there are so many different opportunities provided to me here, and I hope you guys enjoyed this piece today. Let's take a look at when this artist was first showcased. So Revilo made their premiere debut in the Polar Archive on the 15th of December of last year, 2021, with their digital rendering entitled Russet. If you look at that, it's kind of like a sci-fi hallway. It looks like the bridge of a ship as well. Pieces from this artist could be viewed across a multitude of gallery rooms, including our fantasy, sci-fi, and digital render sections. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this piece. Whenever I first saw it, it just drew me in instantly. I had to write about it. I had to share it with you guys. So I hope y'all enjoyed. Check out the original artist. I'm going to link all the information below, and the written piece is going to go live here pretty soon. So I'll see y'all next time, guys. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Polar Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.